from my lessons, blessings. You know the game been told. If I was you, then my soul would have been sold. Watch what you do, cause it's coming back tenfold. Either way it goes, man, I'm 10 toes, 10 toes, 10.
What's going on, y'all? What's going on? How's everything? Thanks for being with me. Had to cancel yesterday's show. You know, it was my birthday. I was going, celebrate with y'all, but I just was led to just be offline that day and just chill and relax. So thanks for everybody for being with me. We will finish the show and have it tomorrow. And it's still a birthday celebration. You know, I celebrate my birthday all month. It's Pisces season. As long as it's Pisces season, it's my birthday. You already know what time it is. But yeah, we have a special guest tonight. This has become one of my good buddies, good friends. Definitely learned a lot from this man. He reached out to me after seeing me in a couple of clips, and we built quite a respectable friendship, full of wisdom. Brother from Boston. He's very wise. He's more into the metaphysical aspects of life and actually going within and healing yourself and actually, questioning the paradigms they put upon us, whether it be religious, just showing you how to see through life from a different lens. And I think in these conversations that we have about relationships and being a better man, that we often forget the inner work. You know what I'm saying? We all want money. We all want good credit. We all want material things, to bring us some type of solace. But this man right here is a wealth of knowledge for how to not only manifest those things, but realize the value of who you already are in the moment, and to really realize that a lot of your issues are really just requires a lot of inner work. Term he likes to use is shadow work, and he's definitely a wealth of knowledge and has a keen perspective for the times we're in right now. So without further ado, I would like to introduce. You've seen him on my channel before. It's probably been a while, but I'm gonna bring to him formally to you guys in a one-on-one, and this is my brother Hairston.
What's up, bro?
What up, bro? Happy you here, my boy, my brother.
Yeah. First of all, I want to say, bro, happy belated birthday. I know I already said happy birthday on social media. I want to say it face to face. You know what I mean? But I have to clean some things up. I'm not actually from Boston. I'm originally from Youngstown, Ohio, but I did live in Fall River, Massachusetts for a little while, and I will be going back up there because that's where my son is. But I lived in Atlanta also for 15 years. Say what?
I said, shout out to Falls River.
Word.
Shout out to Falls River, shout out to Youngstown, right? So real quick, Jason, just tell us about your background. What's your story? Like, how did you get into this perspective? And what's your the beginnings of your current journey? Like, how did you even get into this type of content and space?
Yeah, man, it's interesting, man. It kind of like just opened up from within. Ever since I was young, I was always interested in spiritual ideas. That's why I was really into Earth, Wind, and Fire's music and the imagery on their album covers and things of that nature. So I always had a curiosity about the spiritual realm. So the main thing that really cracked me open was in 2009, I got in an accident. I was driving trucks rather. And at that time, I started getting into meditation and things of that nature because I was in the music business, but I walked away from my whole crew that I was managing. I used to be a manager. I managed a bunch of rappers, songwriters, and things of that nature. And I also worked a little in the film industry. This is when I lived in Atlanta. But when I walked away from my crew at that time, something inside of me said, Jay, it's time for you to meditate. And I didn't even really know how to meditate. So I started off just, 5 minutes a day trying to calm my mind and meditate. And then I started reading a book called The Seekers by Joshua Armstrong, which is a story about these bounty hunters who they captured more criminals than the CIA. And they never licked off one shot, but they all knew martial arts and they were well equipped with all the weaponry they needed. But they studied spiritual books. So everybody who joined The Seekers, they had to read a spiritual book every month. So in this book, he listed a number of books, and I went to go get those books like the Kabbalion, the Stellar Man. I started reading all these books, and from there, my inner world just started opening. Then I got in an accident, and stuff started. When I started meditating, I started getting like internal messages. I'm like, what is this?
Yeah.
So when I was driving the truck, something inside of me said, you need to quit this job. And I was just like, I got to pay my bills. What you talking about? The next week, I got in an accident, fell asleep on the road. Wow. Knocked out my 2 front teeth, rib damage. I lost my job, I lost my apartment, I lost everything. I was stripped down to nothing.
Wow.
The universe is like, it's time to strip you all the way down and build you back up. And that's exactly what happened. So from that point on, I just started recognizing certain things. And in 2010, I came online, I started sharing what I started recognizing. And if you go to my YouTube page and go back to the old videos, you will see my evolution from how things I used to share and how it evolved over time. You can see my natural evolution. So it's always about, for me, it's about evolving and growing, right? That is my goal in life, to become a better human being, and that is my main focus, to be aligned with God and the truth. And that's what I'm all about.
Exactly. So, first question, what was the turning point in your life that led you? Well, you kind of answered that. When people hear the phrase self-mastery, what do you think they misunderstand about it the most?
I think that most people see it as an aesthetic practice. They think it's about certain keywords that you use. They think it's about dressing a certain way, and they think it's just about meditation. But self-mastery is literally about recognizing the negative habitual patterns that you have that mirrors internal emotional trauma, recognizing those patterns and breaking them. That is what self-mastery is. So that's what I continue to do. When I get triggered, the first thing I do is ask myself, okay, why am I triggered right now? Because it's going to always lead to a wound that you have within yourself if you really be honest with yourself, right? So I ask myself, so for example, if somebody called me stupid and I get mad, the first thing I ask myself, do I believe I'm stupid? Because if I'm not stupid, why am I angry right now? And then I'll go and look into my past and be like, hold on, let me think. When I was young, did my parents make me feel like I was stupid, or did some friends make me feel like I was stupid? If you start to look at your backlog of your experience, you'll start to find how you had this subconscious belief about yourself, and your triggers always point to what those negative subconscious beliefs are, because your subconscious mind is more powerful than your conscious mind.
Absolutely.
See, you can say, I'm smart, but inside you can feel like you're not. Just because you say it doesn't mean that you feel that you are. And that's the difference. You need to build up the feeling about yourself. So if that was my issue and I feel like I'm not smart, what I have to do is I have to, whenever that trigger comes around, the next time it comes around and I feel triggered, don't react. Every time you don't react to the trigger, it's like you chip away at it, and the trigger becomes smaller and smaller and smaller to the point where eventually you don't get triggered anymore. But if you react, you're feeding the wound every time you react.
Yes, and I'm still a work in progress. Praise the Lord.
We all are though.
But this is the type of people that I talk to, y'all. This is the guys that I reach out to that keeps me grounded. I don't have no yes men around me. Like, I call Jay, and he'd definitely tell me what I need to hear. And what he's saying is right. And with that being said, I'm gonna derail a little bit. From what you see, like in the content space and the conversation with men and women, what lack of reflection internally are you seeing being displayed in these conversations?
The main issue that I see is that men are not trying to understand the natural, biological, emotional makeup of women, and women are not trying to understand the natural, biological, and emotional makeup of a man. So for instance, if I say that when women walk around exposing a lot of their flesh, right, and showing a lot of their body, that is not wise to do, because you're triggering this desire part of them. Because men, we have the seed, we have all this testosterone, we produce a whole bunch of sperm. So every time you show all them body parts in front of us like that, that's triggering that part of us. Now, it's two sides of it. As a man, we should be able to control our sexual desire, but at the same time, women should understand that still triggers that primal desire within us. And this
That's a
is why
fact.
they should dress modest.
I
You
agree.
know,
It's
so it's true. So I'm
desensitizing us
not
to everything.
right, and I'm not defending men who can't control their sexual desires. See, this is what women don't understand when I say this.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying that you should just grab on women or be ignorant because they got their flesh exposed. What I'm saying is when you walk around with your flesh exposed, you are triggering a very primal part of a man that you complain about when it comes out. You feel what I'm saying? Because even as respectful as I am, I'm still a man. So when I see it, I'm like, "Ooh, she fine." You know what I mean? It's
And
going to
another
trigger
thing,
that.
Jay, another thing they don't realize is it's easier to talk about what you're seeing, but you're not feeling it. You don't know what it's like to have all this energy and this
Exactly.
testosterone and this masculine
Right.
drive for this conquering. Like you can articulate it all you want, and it goes same thing for us. Like how we don't have periods. We don't know. We don't have a bunch of estrogen. We don't know how the physical and emotional scale that women deal with, but they have to give us that same respect. And I think that we haven't been taught enough about ourselves. And I think we learn more about women than we do ourselves. And I want to, and speaking of that, I want to play this clip that I play for everybody. And I think this would be a perfect clip for you to react to, because I think it bleeds into this disconnect of why that aspect of us is not only not taken care of, it's definitely not it's not taken serious by ourselves, but by our counterparts as well. And I want your reaction to this.
The reason why affirmations for Black men has like transformed and changed my life particularly is because the more that I affirmed Black men every day for 2 years, the more that I realized I didn't love them as much as I thought I did.
Speak more to that.
It was the act of finding something different, of studying, of trying and looking to understand. It made me realize that I had never done that before. Until it became something that I was doing because I saw that people needed. And then I started to do it. And I was like, you're telling me I've lived 27 years of my life and I haven't cared to try to understand Black men. I haven't even cared to try. And I would consider myself a really loving person. But for a while, I have been encouraged to invest in only self or understand only self or try to get only for self. And I think that there was this also idea that I already knew him. I already knew everything I needed to know about him. I would study him for what? Get to know him. What is the reason? He's always there.
How do you feel when you see that? What's your thoughts?
Yeah, I think that is good that she's recognizing that she was not trying to understand us as men. Do you know what I mean? And it's important, but also I have to say on the opposite end of the spectrum, we have to understand women as well, you know, and we have to understand that because it took me to the age of 47 years old to truly understand how women sees situations through the emotional lens. You understand what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So once I was able to see that, now I can understand when I deal with a woman, I can't expect her to look at the situation the way I would look at it. So what I could do is I can hold space for her when she's going through an emotional moment. And I can understand that in this moment, she can't see it logically yet. And a lot of times when it comes to dealing with women, when they feel chaotic inside, when something happens, we may see the solution automatically and be like, all you got to do is this. But in that moment, that's not what she needs to hear. In that moment, she just needs to be held. Once she calms down, then you can lovingly give her the solution. So we have to understand that about women as well. And when it comes to sex with women, when we have sex with them, we need to understand that even if they say they just want to have sex, they're going to eventually get emotionally attached. We can have sex and be completely disconnected and not get emotionally attached. And that's the difference between men and women as well. So we need to understand before we can love each other deeply and really have the type of relationship that can build a loving, healthy family, which leads to a loving, healthy community, we have to respect each other and understand our differences and understand how our differences complement each other. Oh, I can't hear you. I don't know what happened.
I'm sorry. Great answer. I was putting in some titles for the show.
Oh, okay.
That was a great answer, brother. I agree with that. I think a lot of men these days feel like that they have, and that aspect was taken advantage of. But I think for us to move forward, like we have to get to some type of middle ground. You know, it can't keep being this antagonistic perspective. But you're right. You know what I'm saying? Like sometimes it's just the presence needed more than what we need to say. But then that sometimes they also have to take and realize that sometimes we do need to speak to what you saying, ladies. You know what I mean? Sometimes we need to hug you, but sometimes we, you know, there's things we need to say. So it's a delicate balance. Do you believe true self-mastery is about controlling the mind or understanding it?
I think it's more about understanding it.
Okay.
Elaborate. About understanding the mind and learning how. And here's the thing about when we talk about the mind, engaging in self-mastery and getting to a place where you can actually live in peace in your life is not only about developing your mental skill. Your logical side is your left brain. Okay. So in school, we're taught just to, think on a logic binary code way, the left brain, but we have a right brain, which is our creative brain. We need to develop that too. You understand what I'm saying? So because we haven't been cultivated as children to embrace both sides of our brain, what ends up happening is it's hard for us to tap into our true potential because we don't know how to tap into the creative side of our right brain to complement the logical side of the left brain.
Absolutely.
So
absolutely.
When you cultivate your creative side, cultivate your logical side, what happens is you become more whole and you're able to, and the thing is, if you cultivate one side more than the other, say you just cultivate your left and not your right, you're not going to reach your full potential. You're imbalanced. If you cultivate just your creative side and don't cultivate your logical side, you can't ground that side. You become aloof. So it's about the equilibrium of how you operate in the world. This is how you find that inner peace, and this is how you get to a place where you can create a life that's more sustainable outside of emotional chaos. Right. And then you'll be able to use your gifts and ground your gifts. Because that's the issue I had when I was on my 10-year, I call it my spiritual pilgrimage. I was traveling all over the world, teaching and learning, doing retreats and having clients all over the world. I was more on my right brain at that time, and I was developing my inner world. Right. So I needed that time to develop it. But when my son was born, he grounded me. And at that point, I was like, okay, investments, legacy. So now that I call it the monk side, the left brain, that nomadic side of me is the monk side developed. But now I'm in the king side. I have both. The king is leading the monk side. The king is like the masculine side of you, the left brain, and the right brain is like the feminine side of you, the monk side of me. So now the monk is still here, but now I'm going to take all those spiritual lessons that I learned and ground it in practical ways. Right. So that's what I'm about to do going forth. I'm about to start a new movement that's going to include content that shows all of the things that I taught for 10 years, but in content where you can watch the principle play out. And what I realized on these 10 years when I was teaching for this long, I can say deep things and people act like they get it, but I don't think they really get it. And
they need to see it in real time.
Yes. And this is why parables in the Bible are powerful, because they're meant to point to a principle, but people take it literal. So I'm going to do the same thing with my content going forward, to where the principles that I taught, you're going to see it play out. You know what I mean? Because the problem with a lot of the media is we watch these movies, right? And they create these stories, and the stories don't really align with how principles actually operate. So it confuses. So we get influenced by these false ways of seeing how the world operates, and that's not really how that would play out.
Absolutely.
So what I want to do is counter that with content that shows you exactly how principles play out, right? And the patterns stay the same in most cases. If you do that's why I used to freak clients out, because I'll say, when you did that, this happened, didn't it? How you know that? Because I understand the pattern of what you're doing. And I know the result of that pattern.
Yeah, I think pattern recognition is that's why I'm so such a fan of history, because all history is just an account of patterns. You know what I'm saying? Pattern recognition is everything. So yeah, I appreciate you saying that. And guys in the chat, shout out to everybody in the chat. I really want to get through this interview, and I don't want to interrupt too much. So unless it's like a super chat, I'm probably not going to put the comment on the screen. So, no disrespect, but I really want to get to the questions with the brother. Question: what role did pain or struggle play in shaping your spiritual awakening?
or it played a big role, you know.
I think you. Oh, okay. I think you froze.
Pain is like the compression that turns coal into a diamond if you're aware that there's a lesson within the pain. See, most of us, and I used to do this, when things would happen to me, why, God, why is this happening to me? This is not fair, right? But when you learn to look at pain through the lens of self-accountability and understand that God is never trying to punish you, any pain that you experience is attempting to compress you into a diamond. So whenever I experience pain, I ask a question. Why did this happen? When I'm honest with myself and I sit and look at the backlog of, it may be something that I'm continually doing that's not healthy, a choice that I keep making. I say, oh, once I look at it, oh, that's why this keep happening. I saw that red flag and I didn't set a boundary. Or I keep letting people in my life who don't respect me. And then I get hurt and then I wonder why this is happening. You see, so once you really look at, because in most cases, not all cases, because sometimes things can happen to you that cause you pain, but it's still a lesson within it. But a lot of times we bring on our own pain by making decisions that are not based in wisdom.
Exactly.
But when you start to have acute pattern recognition skills, you start to find out the flaws that you're making in your decision making. That's when you start to change your life. That's when you'll see big shifts in your life. I would tell clients, I would say, here's the issues that I see. This is the pattern that you're in. If you do this to break that pattern, I'm gonna warn you. If you break these patterns, your life is going to change tremendously. Now, I'm just suggesting. I'm not saying you have to. I'm saying I suggest you do this. I know for a fact, if you break these patterns, your life is going to shift. And all the clients that I had, they changed these patterns, boom, things start shifting. That's because what's happening is the things that you manifested in your life based on a lens of emotional trauma is falling away because you're healing those wounds. Now new things are showing up that line up with the new you.
Facts. Good answer, bro. Good answer. Last question for this this part of the interview. How does a person begin the inward journey if they've never explored spirituality before? Because a lot of people are religious and they think that's spirituality.
Yeah. I would say the first thing is to start to meditate, just like I did, 5 minutes a day. It's hard at first, to quiet the mind, because we're used to sitting in our mind. Like when we're out and about, most of us sit here, we're in our mind. And I think a lot too, I process a lot, but I make sure I take time every day to come out of my mind into my body and become present, right? When you become more present in your body, you start to awaken your inner world and you start to feel things and start to understand things that you can't comprehend here. It starts to unravel literally within you, right? So we got to learn to get out of our minds more and come more present in our bodies. And then I would suggest, just like I suggested a friend of mine to read The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle. And he's like, Jay, this book changed my life. I was like, yeah, because that book changed my life when I read it, because it taught me how to separate myself from my mind. Your thoughts in your mind are not you. It's just a thought. So I'm a very creative person. I want to share this. I'm very creative. And sometimes crazy ass thoughts come in my mind. It used to scare me. Like, why did I just think about that? Right. But I realized it's just my mind being creative. If something crazy comes in my mind, I don't have to attach any emotion to it. I could just look at it as my mind being creative. It doesn't mean that I'm crazy. It doesn't mean any of that. When you attach to that thought and you think that that thought is you, then you start to, I think I'm crazy. That's when you start going down a dark road, because you're attaching. You don't have to attach to anything that comes into your mind. I attach to the things that come in my mind that I want to attach to, that I want to cultivate. Most of the time, your mind is just being creative. Just let it be creative. And if it's something that comes to your mind that you don't like, ignore it, and it'll fizzle away. So The Power Now, and then another book I would suggest for people to read is called The Seat of the Soul by Gary Zolkoff. I believe that's his name. The seed of the soul. I just had another friend read that. She's reading like, Jay, this is changing my life. Yes, because it's giving you tools and it's giving you an understanding more about your inner world and your mind and how to use both in a wise way.
Great point. Before we go to the next segment of the interview, what do you say to men? Because in this space, like when I would bring up, of course, history, I would get kind of like shunned, and I would get a lot of pushback from using words like spirituality and different metaphysics. Why do you think the current state of Black men, especially in the so-called manosphere, have such a problem with a spiritual approach or metaphysical perspective on when it comes to analyzing things?
It's because most of these brothers are intelligent brothers, but like I said, they have went through higher education that only cultivates the left brain, which is the logical brain, which is the binary code way of thinking. So because they get this adoration for having these certificates for graduating from these higher education universities, they think that that's all it is when it comes to wisdom and knowledge, when there's another side, like I said, the right brain. And the spiritual aspect is connected to the right brain, the creative side. So when I talk about things unravel inside of you, knowing start to unravel inside of you, they can't comprehend what that means because they think knowledge can only be a binary code, right? They don't understand what it feels like for something to drop inside of you. Like, oh, like there's been plenty of times when I meditated deep in meditation and a revelation will literally fall into me and I see it clearly and it gives me more understanding about what's going on in the world. But you can't get to that space if you only in your left brain. If you haven't activated your right brain and your heart too, because that's part of it too, right? So a lot of these brothers I see specifically in the red pill, forget women and hate women type of thing, they haven't opened their hearts yet. So
I'm glad you said it. So, because I'm playing devil's advocate, because you know me and you, we here. But for the sake of the crowd, what do you say to men who say, "Well, that's that liberal thinking, you know, astrology and metaphysics. That's what's wrong with our women." Why is that a wrong assessment when they hear stuff like that?
I'll say this, straight up and down. If that's how you feel and that's what you think, it is what it is. There's another world to explore. So I'm not here to force anything.
No, absolutely. I just wanted you to give like an analysis on when you hear those type of statements.
I'm sure there are men who are saying what I'm saying right now is bullshit, and that's okay, right? I know from experience what I'm talking about is real. So if you want to step into a deeper power within yourself, and what I'm saying is resonate, because what I'm speaking, none of this that I'm saying is something that I'm regurgitating that I memorized. Okay, because most people who go to higher education, all they do is regurgitate things that they memorized.
Yeah, this is applied knowledge you're giving us.
They can't speak off script. See, anything that I teach that I'm telling you, I can give you an example in real life and show you how it mirrors the principle. Or I could share a story that outlines how the principle works. Right? So, my message is for those who can hear. Some people can't hear it, and that's okay. Some people may call Jay is crazy. Woo woo. Look at this. He claimed he more conservative, but he on that left astrology bullshit. Astrology has some validity. Human design has some validity. Meditation and opening yourself up for stuff to fall into you all of this is real. So if you don't believe that it's real, you'll never get a chance to experience a deeper part of yourself. And if that's where you want to operate from, fine.
So I'm gonna give you another pushback. So what if somebody says, "Well, that sounds like religion. It sounds like belief. Like, so what's the difference between spirituality and metaphysics and just believing in my God or my Savior? Like, what's the difference? Why can't I believe in that but can't believe? Why do I have to believe in the metaphysics, spiritual side, but I can't believe in my religion?" Like, what would you say to that comment?
The only thing I could say to that is everything that I'm talking about are things I actually experience as far as opening up to things within myself. So it's something that you have to experience. Now, me personally, I'm going to say this, right? My view on religion changed a little bit, and I'm going to tell you why. I'm gonna tell you why. I'm not a Christian. I don't need to attach myself to any religion because I understand the principles that the religions are trying to teach outside of the stuff that
Universal.
people, yeah, there are universal things that you can find within all religions. And of course, some people have put things in it to tarnish it. But I'm saying this, the reason why I'm not so against religion like I used to be is because when I look at the history, for example, of us as Black people, within our community, when we had Christianity, at least we had some type of moral compass. And it was something that brought us all together as a community. And I feel like when you don't have any type of spiritual foundation within your community, you're going to have chaos and destruction. Now, I'm not saying that Christianity should be that foundation going forth, but what I'm saying is this: for us as a community to really have a chance to grow in a healthy way, we have to redefine some, we have to embrace some form of a spiritual foundation that we all agree upon, that we can all collectively uphold, protect, and support and live out. Because if we don't, we're all on different pages, and what this person might consider wrong, I consider right. How can we have a healthy community when we can't even come together on a moral foundation? Right? So that's what's missing in society as a whole, in my opinion, not only in the Black community, but just in America as a whole. We need some type of spiritual foundation that brings us together. And that is one of the positive things that Christianity gave to us as a community. But as you know, we spoke privately. There are a lot of issues with the Christian religion. We can go down that road, but I'm just saying. But this is the reason why I'm not so against it as I used to be. And that's why.
Yeah, because most people are not evolved like how we do. So they literally need something to believe in to keep them grounded. But to be honest, it's sad that we can't just all bound on the principle of do unto others as you want them to do unto you. Like that one principle should unify the entire planet because we all want that. But it is what it is.
But you know why I know why we can't get there. We can't get there because too many of us are in survival mode. And
it's a lot of reasons why.
That's one of the reasons. But because my thing is this, right? When it comes to spirituality, like my issue with religion is, why aren't there classes in the church that's giving us financial literacy? Why are they not? Being healthy is a well-rounded thing. It's not just about praying. It's not just about meditation. It's about eating healthy. It's about emotional regulation. It's about building wealth. It's about all of these things, right? You can't just and this is why I pretty much walked away from the spiritual community, because everybody's just focused on the inner world and nobody's trying to ground it. Too many people are aloof in that space, right? And that's why people are saying, Jason, what happened to you? What happened to me is I got grounded. So a lot of the spiritual people I have to hang out with, we don't have too much in common anymore. Because I'm talking about them. Not only am I talking about spiritual stuff, I'm talking about investing. I'm talking about eating healthy. I'm talking about a well-rounded scope on how to be healthy. So we need a well-rounded scope of it. And this is one of the things that I'm going to bring forth in my movement that I'm about to launch. You're going to see me creating content that shows healthy relationship between Black men and Black women. Healthy. Because this is what I learned about us as human beings after I've been teaching for 10 years. I've been teaching and doing all these different things, and people are like, oh yeah, Jay, that's the truth. That's the truth. But here's what I realized. You don't really have a powerful impact on human beings until you do what the media does to us, social engineering. So what I'm going to do is counter the negative social engineering that we have with positive social engineering, right? We talked about this before. I'm going to create content that shows a healthy community and what it looks like. Because these young brothers and sisters, when they don't have a reference point of what a healthy relationship looks like or what a healthy community looks like. But when you give them the reference point, they see it. The first thing they're going to think is, I want that. when you say I want that, what do? You try to figure out how to get there. So this is what pisses me off about a lot of Black content creators that are creating content. They have these large audiences, and they're not taking the time to create the reference points for us to strive for. All they want to do is talk about drama and bullshit.
It's a drama and bullshit show going on right now, and everybody, that's what they watching right now. But it's all good.
That's what I'm saying. So my goal is to do the opposite of what the media has been doing by giving the proper reference points. Now, here's the thing: everybody might not like it. It's for people who can hear and see it. The people who can hear and see it. And I'm here mostly for the babies too. It's really for because I'm gonna tell you something. I want to tell you a story. I was talking to my uncle one day. He grew up in the 70s. Do you know one day we ended up talking about blaxploitation movies? And you know, one day he told me this. I thought all pimps were Black. So when I saw a white pimp, I was like, he ain't no pimp. Pimps are Black. You know why he thought that way? Because those movies gave him a reference point that only Black men are pimps. Mm-hmm. So why aren't Black filmmakers creating reference points? It's some that do it. I'm not going to sit here and say that nobody's doing it. But I'm just saying we need more Black filmmakers to create reference points that can program us to think that, oh, you could be a successful Black man. Oh, you could be a successful Black inventor. Mm-hmm. Oh, you see what I'm saying? Absolutely. Where is that content?
Mm-hmm. I agree.
But that's what I'm going to bring forth. Since nobody else want to do it, I'm going to get my money up, put my own money up and fund it and do it. And
shout out to that.
And on top of that, I learned this lesson from all these years of teaching and doing all the other content that I made. Mm-hmm. I'm separating my livelihood from my content. So anything I create, I don't need to make money from it. So therefore, when I put something out, we don't like Jason. We don't like that message. He on that woo-woo bullshit.
That's what I'm on, Jay. That's what I'm on. It's like I'm not about to let money drive my content because it's going to water it down. I don't care if it's 10 people. I don't care if it's 100 people. I'm going to make the things that resonate with me in my heart, and I'm going to make money how I make money. Of course, you want to get blessed from doing the content, doing what you love, but it's like if you put all your eggs in this basket and think that you're going to make so much, like the only people I feel like making money off of content consistently is they're doing something monotonous over and over, the same thing, or it's very salacious content that's just dealing with what's trending. I mean, it's like, I don't really feel like doing that. You know, some things that's trending you might want to talk about because you can unpack it to show a bigger issue, but to just constantly do that and just do the same thing over and over, that's just not who I am. And I'll never be that. So
I'm just like you. And this is why I want to say this. This is why I reached out to you, because I recognize that out of all these content creators, you're genuine and authentic, and you're doing this from a pure place. That's why I reached out to you. You understand?
And I usually ask that at the beginning of the show. I always ask people, what made you give me a follow? What made you catch my content? So thanks for saying that, because I should have asked you in the beginning. I forgot.
And that's why I reached out to Jeff St. James for the same reason, because he's one of those brothers I feel like that's genuine and authentic, and I'm glad that y'all working together.
Absolutely.
You know? So with that being said, though, this is why all authentic content creators need to support each other. So I'm going to just say this on air. When I get into a position, I already talked to you about this. When I get into a position to where I could create something that can get you some money and for you to be seen, I'm going to put you in it. And I'm not going to do it being like, you owe me one. None of that. See, like I told you, like I put people on, like the brother I put on the Empire show. When I showed you that, I did that out of love. I didn't say, if I do this for you, you got to do this for me. I feel like when you see somebody has potential and you know, and you have a plug for them, you can put them on, you're supposed to do that.
And that's why I messed with you, Jay. Like you've been 100 from like day one. You know what I'm saying? Like this is an honor for me to even have you up here to pick your brain. Because like I said, with these interviews, what I like to do is showcase people that inspire me. And I could call you. You don't never get funny. You answer the phone. If you don't agree with me, like that's what I'm saying. I like it's still sharper than still. Jay don't agree with everything I be saying. I
right.
Jay.
And it's all
Of course, you my bro. You like my big bro. Like when I hit up JJ, be like, Jan send me some shit back. Like, I don't know. You gotta show me the source of that shit. Yeah, that shit sounds good. But like, I eat that shit up. Like, yeah, I need some sources. Like, he be pulling the illa on me. Like, I be like, fuck. He right. I got it. All right. How? But what about this, Jay? He'll be back. That wasn't true. You need to look that up. I don't know about that, E. Like I said, man, I'm like, yo, this guy right here. So nah, man, Jay is my guy, man. I appreciate you. But yeah, shout out to Jamie, one of my biggest supporters. Shout out to her with the $25 super chat. I appreciate you, Jamie. I appreciate you. She said, happy birthday, Illa. Thank you, y'all. It is still my birthday week, so show some love. It's still Pisces season. Show some love. We'll be back tomorrow. We got another show. So yeah, show some love. I don't know what I'm gonna do about this unpacking the cap this weekend. I don't know what topic I'm gonna hit on. But hold on, Jay. I gotta refresh my screen on phone.
All right.
Yeah, I'm back. I might do a poll. So if y'all in the content, with all the stuff going on in social media world, what cap would you like me to unpack this weekend? Because I don't know. So y'all, I'm open to suggestions from the crowd. If y'all see some cap I need to unpack, hit me up, DM me on Instagram. So you speak about quantum energy healing. How would you explain that concept to someone who is skeptical?
You know, energy healing is one of those things where you just have to experience it to believe it. You know, because it's one of those things, and I could do it long distance on Zoom. I could do it in person. I've been doing that for over a decade, and people still don't believe it. I even got videos of me doing it. Oh, they faking, you know. And once again, you cannot believe it if you want to. Like, I'm not into trying to prove anything. Like, I know what's real. I've experienced it. I have several testimonials on my YouTube page with clients who have experienced my energy healing. So it's one of those things, man, where it's like, it's real and it helps you release a lot of trauma. Like when I do energy healing on people, because people don't know this, but we hold emotional trauma in our bodies, literally.
Yes.
So if I get triggered about something, I can literally feel in my body where I'm holding it. And because I understand that, I go to that place. I might put my hand there and send energy to myself to help unravel it. So when I do energy healing, a lot of times people have trauma in their body and I help pull it out, and they'll start releasing it, and it'll come out, right? But I always tell people, energy healing in itself, I may give you relief in that moment, but it's not enough, because I may help you release something in that moment, but if you don't deal with the negative habitual pattern that caused that blockage in your body, it's going to just fill up and be blocked again. So it's like a massage. You know, like if you playing ball or something and you twist your leg a certain way, you go get a massage, you get relief. But if you keep doing that same move the same way, you go keep injuring yourself the same way. It's the same principle, right?
Exactly. In your opinion, is modern society designed to distract us from self-awareness? If so, how?
Yes, for sure. The reason why society is designed to distract us from self-awareness is because the people who control society, who control the media, who control the schooling systems, understand that if you start tapping into your inner power and you start balancing your left and your right brain, you got your logical brain on lit and you got your creative brain lit, those two together, what the creation that comes out of that is so powerful and so impactful that if enough people did that, we would just literally destroy the system. It will automatically be destroyed, because we would no longer be under the illusion that we are not enough, because ultimately the society collectively tries to keep us under this spell of feeling like we're not enough, especially within the capitalist society, right? Now, I'm pro free markets and capitalism, but we have a lot of tyrannical capitalism that I'm against, which means it's all about the bottom line. No matter if we poison people, we brainwash people, it's about making more money and making our stockholders richer, right? So unfortunately, because we have become over consumers, we weren't always like this. When my parents were young and his parents, we primarily bought what we needed. Now we buy a whole bunch of stuff that we don't need. And the reason why we do is because we're socially engineered
To be
to
consumers.
think we need to buy these things to be better. If I buy this, I'm cooler. So they prey off of our low self-esteem, and this is how we become over consumers. If you have high self-esteem, you don't get fooled by none of that, because I don't need a Lexus or a Beamer to feel good about myself. You understand? It don't matter what I drive. I know I'm the shit. You feel what I'm saying? Like, you gotta feel that way. Like you like this is what I like about you is like, that's how you like, bro. I don't need none of this stuff. I can walk down the street. I know who I am. I know I'm powerful. I know I could talk to a woman, and you feel what I'm saying? But most people are not like that. Think about most of the people you see around you. Most people are not that confident about themselves. And a society that thrives off of tyrannical capitalism needs a society to have collective low self-esteem so they can continually sell them products that they really don't need, that they think can make them feel better about themselves. This overconsumption is like a drug.
That's a fact.
If you become rich and you buy a Lamborghini and you a cornball when you buy it, you still a cornball in a Lamborghini.
You heard him.
And you go drive in a Lamborghini, and other people with low self-esteem go see you and be inspired by you, but they don't know inside you feel like a cornball.
Exactly.
But I see
they probably got more confident in they bullshit than you got in your Lambo.
That's a fact. But see, I see through all that. And that's another thing with me. I can read people's energy. I can read your body language. I know you a cornball, and you feel like a cornball in your Lamborghini.
Yep, absolutely. He be projecting that cornball energy like a motherfucker.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
So that's why I'm going to teach my son. Like, you need to feel like you are powerful no matter where you are at what stage in your life. Now, I'm going to admit this. When you make more money and stuff, you feel better about yourself, and that's okay. But what I'm saying is, money don't make the man. Principles make the man. A man that stands on principles, that stands up for what's right, that makes the man. Integrity, truth, wisdom, understanding, self-mastery, that makes the man.
Absolutely, Jay. Absolutely. You're now embracing the identity of a healing artist. What does that title mean to you?
Yeah, so I'm transitioning into becoming a healing artist, which means basically using my content to teach as opposed to just speaking like I used to do, right? Using music, using film, I'm gonna do a lot of short films. Like, for example, I have like 20 short films written that are based off of quotes that I read. I have hundreds of quotes saved. So I have a whole series that I'm going to film of short films that are based on that quote. So this short film is going to show you the principle of what the quote means, right? Because a lot of times I think I say a quote and people might be like, that's deep, but they don't really get it. But when you see the story behind the quote and you watch it, and then at the end, I'll say the quote, and then now you're learning about osmosis because you saw the reference point of the principle play out. Now it hits you deeper. Now you learn it on a deeper level now. And I feel like this is what people need. People need to learn. And this is what I recognize. Us as human beings, for some reason, we absorb the message more intensely through art, through movies, through music. So if I just say it to you, you might get it, and you might, it'll go in your body and fizzle right out. But if you watch a powerful short about the subject, it's going to sit deeper with you.
Facts. That's a fact. Why do you think art can sometimes communicate spiritual truths more powerfully than lectures or teachers or teachings?
The reason why is because spiritual truths are so broad that it's hard to explain it in a logical sense. So you have to use metaphors to get
abstract
close
things.
To
it's almost like how an animated movie could show you more vivid things than a live action movie, because you're more free with artistic expression than you can be with a human body. So yeah, exactly.
Right. So for example, there are certain experiences that I have experienced that if I tell you straight up, you're gonna be like, that's some bull. You know what I mean? Like, but I actually experienced it. But what I could do is I could show it in the form of art, and you still might not believe it, but because I put it in art, it's going past your conscious mind. It's going straight to your subconscious mind. So consciously, you might not grasp it immediately, but your subconscious mind will. You know why? Because the subconscious mind comprehends symbols. This is why the Egyptians use hieroglyphics as their language, because the symbols went straight to your subconscious mind. And even now, when people see those symbols, it could awaken something. You just seeing a symbol, and you just might feel something like you don't know, like what is that? And then something awakened in you because you saw the symbol, because our ancestors is coded in our DNA. So those symbols could activate something in your DNA that makes you remember something. So the Egyptians understood this. This is why the English language is a dead language. It's dead. Symbolism is a more powerful language, right? So this is why I understand, being a healing artist, I'll be able to teach in a more powerful format by using content, symbolism, and content to go straight to your subconscious mind.
Powerful. Powerful. I can look forward to you doing that. That's gonna be crazy. Last two sets of segments. You often reference Stoic wisdom. How does Stoicism intersect with spirituality and healing?
Stoicism grounds the metaphysical concepts. It grounds it. You know, if you're too aloof with the spiritual understandings or what have you, you're gonna create chaos. Because what happens is you become like your way of thinking starts to go outside of understanding how we're still in the physical realm. So, for example, I might have an idea that's real powerful, but if I can't ground it in a practical way, there's no point in it. Because I mean, I could go a lot deeper into quantum stuff, and I used to talk in that way, but I realized why I'm talking too far. Like, that's not helping people.
You got to meet them where they at.
Right, you feel what I'm
like
saying?
how Jesus spoke in parables.
Right. So I realized I gotta tone it down and make it more digestible. Right. Because if I keep talking from that high end, I'm doing that for the ego. If I continue to do that, like, it ain't about affecting people no more. It's about trying to prove that I'm a spiritual high. Yeah, I'm just no, it's not.
Absolutely.
Everything I share on Facebook, what I do, I'm really trying to open you up to things. I want it to be digestible. Right. That's the key. So Stoicism is making things practical and digestible, because if you're not doing that, what's the purpose of it? Like, you just
Absolutely. What does knowing yourself actually mean in practical terms?
Knowing yourself means understanding your strengths and your weaknesses and cultivating your strengths and strengthening your weaknesses.
Absolutely. Do you believe people are truly free, or are most of us operating from unconscious conditioning?
We're definitely collectively operating from unconscious conditioning that comes from trauma we've experienced, and also that comes from indoctrination. So it's two levels of it, right? So a lot of times we're not looking at the world through a clear lens. We're looking at the world through a muddied lens of trauma and indoctrination. And both of those lenses taint your view of the world. You can't really understand how the world works. You truly can't understand how you can work in the world if you don't clearly see what the world is. And this is on purpose, right? That's why indoctrination exists.
Absolutely. Why do you think self-mastery is becoming such an important topic in today's culture?
Because let's get into the woo-woo stage now. It's a spiritual awakening happening. There are times on the planet where the dark rules, and then it comes back around and the light rules. We're coming into spring of that, where the light is going to rule again. This is why you're seeing so many things be uncovered. The darkness is coming to the surface to be purged. Before we can get to a point where we can operate on the planet in a more healthy way in the light cycle, all of the darkness has to come to the surface and purge. It's just like your inner world, like all your trauma and shadow part. That's what self-mastery is. It's about unearthing all of the negative stuff within you so you can release it. Right? right? Like I got a song called Dead Weight that talks about this that I wrote because I'm gonna record an album too. And then this song is talking about, you know.
Let me get on that album, man. Let me get a 16 or 2, brother.
Hey, listen, real talk though, we're gonna do some music together eventually.
Absolutely.
We will. I actually have. We'll talk about this off the air.
Yeah. We're gonna chop.
I have some ways that we can make some decent money together about making songs, and I'll break all that down to you.
Please do. I already know you got. I already know you got the sauce.
I got a list of people I'm gonna work with. There are certain things that I'm gonna do because I'm all about if you're authentic and you real. If I have a way that we could do something creatively and impactful and get bread, I'm gonna do it, and it's gonna be
we long overdue for something like that anyway. You know, what
everything's gonna be fair. I ain't gonna never try to cheat you out of nothing. It's gonna be 50-50. Boom, boom, boom. You good, and I'm gonna be happy you good. We did this. You got bread. That's what I'm talking about. You know what I mean? Let's take a trip to Brazil together. What's up, bro? Let's go to Brazil. You feel what I'm saying?
That's what I'm saying. That's what it's about. It's about networking, quality over quantity. Y'all know my motto. Yeah, absolutely. Let's do it. All right. Next question. If someone feels lost in life, what is the first step towards discovering their purpose that you would suggest?
The main trauma in your life is pointing to your purpose. So, for example, if you felt like when you were a child, you were abandoned by your parents, you crave to be loved by your parents. So more than likely, you're going to be passionate about working with children. Give to people in service what you needed when you were a child. Whatever that wound is, the main wound that you have, give something that provides what you needed when you experience that wound.
Exactly.
And what happens is
all the time. I always think about what I wanted when I was at this age. What I have.
Right.
That's why when I hear people talk about the stepmom and stepdad conversation, I get it. I definitely would suggest no young man to deal with somebody with a bunch of kids before he develops and becomes a man. And you definitely don't want to just pick up someone's mess. But at the same time, I think about when I was a child and when my dad left my mom, I would have loved for her to meet a man that respected and loved me. You know what I'm saying? So it's like we sometimes throw the baby out with the bathwater with a lot of these conversations. You know what I'm saying? It's like we all need to think about the child in this situation. Like, how would that child feel? Like, that child don't think you were sucking because you helping him out, and you know what I'm saying? Like, I just think these conversations get conflated sometimes, and we lose the humanity in things because of these outlier, and oftentimes it happens a lot, but these situations are negative. It's like there's a good way to do all these things, and there's a wrong way to do all these things. You know what I'm saying? There's a science to dealing with somebody with a child, science to dealing with somebody single. Like, there's a methodology and even an art to all of these things. You know what I'm saying? Because life is not perfect. Some people are going to have children. Some people are going to have, different situations. So it's like, I know when I was that child, I would love for my mother to meet somebody. So basically just piggyback off what you said. It's like, you just got to put yourself in another person's shoes sometimes.
And I want to say this. This is one of the issues I have with the red pill, with this whole don't date a woman that has children. Listen, man, if you meet a woman who is perfect for you and she has a few children, if I meet a woman that's perfect for me, she has a few children, I'm going to make it happen. Because here's the thing about it, man. I love children anyway. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't have a problem loving someone else's child because I'm a human being with empathy. I can teach their children something I could teach my son as well. They'll all get the lessons. If that woman is good and we can create a family dynamic that's loving, that's caring, that's positive, and we can build together as a husband and wife, I'm down for it. You feel what I'm saying? I'm not going to just, she's a perfect woman for me, but she got 2 kids. Nah. What? Nah, bruh. No. Because at the end of the day, them children could be a blessing to you in a way that you don't even understand.
Don't even get it.
And on top of that, if you're a wise man with knowledge, you can help raise those children up to be healthy people in the society as well, which helps us all. Right? So I don't, you know, these extreme measures that people be taking, it's like, nah, bro. Like at the end of the day, and then a lot of people who speak that extreme behind the scenes, they trying to get with a chick with 2 kids. You feel what I'm saying? So it's
Not
like,
only they're doing it, they're paying OnlyFans to all types of shit.
all
Don't get me
types. So
started,
it's
man.
like,
They doing the
nah, man.
most.
At the end of the day, when you are able to connect with someone and it's truly love, it's truly authentic, and both of you truly care about each other, both of you truly respect each other, and both of you truly are on the same page, you should go for that. You know what I mean?
Facts.
That's how I feel about it, at least.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Last question, brother. I wanted to make sure I hit my points today. I ain't wanted to keep you too long. Last question. What is the ultimate transformation you hope people experience through your work and art?
I'm hoping people will realize that even though it may be painful to do self-mastery, even though it may be challenging to look at yourself, all of the pain and the challenge that you experience in facing yourself and breaking your negative habitual patterns is worth it in the end. And I'm speaking from experience, because the more that I grow and the less that I'm triggered, the more inner peace that I experience in my life. And I'm able to have emotional regulation. Like, stuff don't rile me up like it used to back in the day. Like, people be trying to trigger me, trying to get me mad. I just be like, okay, bro, like, you know, you got it, you win. You feel what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, me being rattled by this person is not worth my peace. Now, I'm human and I may get rattled. You know, I'm not saying that I'm perfect and it can't happen, but for the most part, there's not too many things that rile me up to the point where I'm just spiraling out of control. Because I use alchemy, you know what I mean? And that's the problem I feel like with us as men, specifically Black men, right? We have this thing where we think you a bitch if you don't react in this way. And it's like, bro, there's nothing wrong with defending yourself. Sometimes you got to fight. You feel what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, in most cases, you can alchemize stuff. Like, if a dude is like coming at me, I'll just be like, okay, bro, you win. You know what I'm saying? Like brother want to debate me because he want to prove that he's smarter than me. I'll just be like, you're smarter than me. You win. I don't have no stake in proving anything to anybody. Either you get what I'm saying or you don't. Mm-hmm. But so we have to pull away from this whole idea of conflict is proving that we're a man. You may have to get in conflict as a man. But what you'll find is the more inner peace that you discover within yourself, that you cultivate within yourself, you'll get to a point where you'll be able to alchemize so many. It's like they talk about the Jedis. They said it's the gray Jedi, or it's a concept about this Jedi where he's such a master that he can't get hit by anything.
I mean, it's the Christ. It's the enlightened state. It's like when Neo lost his sight in the movie. He just was
right.
It's a metaphor. You know what I'm saying? And I ain't gonna front. Like I have it, but then I let people get me sometimes because it's like it be from the angle like, who the fuck is you to tell me anything? You know what I'm saying? It's like it don't even be like it's like I feel like I'm getting punked. It's just like the nerve of you to say anything like that to me. But even that you have to grow from. So I'm still a work in progress. He ain't through with me yet. You know, thank God I got friends like Jason Hairston that keep me grounded. Because I definitely be ready to.
Listen, bro, I'm gonna tell you this, right? Even though I may alchemize something in real life, when I'm alone, that frustration is still there, and I talk it out myself. This motherfucker. And here's the thing: I get the energy out. I don't let that fester. The frustration.
Yeah, people think you got to talk to yourself sometimes.
Yeah, and that's
like
my
talk.
way of getting out the frustration and not dumping it on people. I get it out. You feel what I'm saying? Like you might have to go hit a punching bag to get out.
Yeah, I like to go to the gun range.
Yeah, go for whatever you need to do for yourself. The frustration will continually come. Yeah. But the thing is, you don't want other people to pull it out of you. Yes. What you want to do is be cool, and when you alone, do what you need to do to get it out. Then.
Yes.
You know what I mean? That's how you stay in your power.
I'll be having it, and then I had a moment, so it's like, oh, still got work to do.
It's like a muscle, bro. You gotta build it. Just like I've been building all this time, and I'm still building the muscle, right? To become more stoic, more here. I call it present, and boom.
Because true masculinity is avoidance.
Right.
And not even have to deal with certain stuff. You know what I'm saying? So, like, even with certain martial arts, it's about moving the person. It's not necessarily, it's just disarming them, putting them in a state where they can't do nothing. You know what I'm saying? Like, my mother used to always tell me, like, you have to disarm people. You know what I mean?
It's about managing the flow of energy in the situation.
Mm-hmm.
Whoever is calm enough and aware enough can manage the energy and manipulate the moment. When you're unconscious, somebody could pull you into some bullshit because you're just going off the hinges. And now you're in a situation where you're fueling the chaos. Now you might put yourself in a situation where it might lead to something tragic on your end.
Mm-hmm.
But when you're calm and you can see it, and you just like, you know what I mean? It's just like, we from the hood. You know, when you in the area and you feel something about to pop off, you can feel up. It's let's get out of here. You feel what I'm saying?
Facts.
Like you got to fill out the energy. Well, so you don't want to be like, I'm gonna prove I'm a man. I'm gonna go up here and fight this dude over some dumb shit. He probably gonna shoot you. Now you're dead. Now what? It's like, bro, what was like? It's not worth it.
It's not worth it, but you know what I mean? Yeah. But I stay strapped, but still though, you just never know. You know, I keep that motherfucker, right? You know what I mean? But you're right though, because everybody's strapped. You know, they ain't stopped making guns. They made, they made mine. But this was.
I'm not against dope. Guns at all. I'm not against guns.
No, I know you know. I know. I was just talking shit. But no, this is definitely dope, and I definitely want you to come back for like panel conversation was more elevated thing, because I ain't gonna have you up here with no fools. But I definitely think that you I want you to share more of your philosophy on my channel in the upcoming future. And is there anything you want to share with us before we roll out? Anything you want to any links, anything you want to provide people, any information you want to provide them before we go?
I just want to tell people, just stay in tune with me. I'm building up the situation. I'm about to launch my movement soon, and you guys will see it. You'll know exactly what I'm talking about. So I got a lot of great content I'm gonna be bringing out slowly. I have an idea for I don't even want to call it a podcast, a new show that I'm going to create that's going to be powerful, and it's going to be for men. I'm not going to get into what it is because I don't want anybody to steal my idea. But
of course, and send me your links after the show. Send me so I can add it to the description in the YouTube. And if you want to download this video, Jay, and do what you want to do with it, you're free to do that.
Okay, that's what's up. And before we get off of here, man, I want to say, man, I appreciate you. And this is how I know that I'm growing, because in the past, like with you, we may disagree, but there's still respect there. Like in the past, I will always attract people in my life when there's a disagreement, the situation unravels. So the fact that we're here and that's not the case, let me know that I've grown. You see what I'm saying? When you are able to attract healthier people in your life, it's a testimony to how you've healed.
Yeah.
You see? So the fact that you're healthy enough to be a mature man and still be cool and disagree and it not be no beef or nothing like that.
I mean, we agree on 99.7% of the, you know what I'm saying?
I'm just saying though, like, think about all the dudes that you disagree with and how it causes a problem in most cases.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I'm proud of the fact that not only are you that way, you're owning up to yourself and you're saying, I need to work on this. I need, that's showing a sign of intelligence.
Absolutely, man. Like, absolutely, man. Real recognize real and still sharpen steel. And you one of the sharpest swords I know. And you definitely keep me sharp. You know what I'm saying? So I appreciate you. I got mad love for you, Jay. You know what I'm saying? Like, I can't wait to link up in real life. Like, this ain't no, like I said, the people I work with, not everybody, but certain people, this ain't virtual. This is a real, genuine kinship. And this is definitely one of my favorite people that I've met in this content. Like, whether I do this content or not, I'm always gonna reach out to this brother. He's always gonna be a part of my life. So I'm telling you that right now. So
That's
this
what's
ain't,
up. All right.
you always going to be around. So you got a little brother in North Carolina. So
All right. It's all
get
love.
ready. I'm going to be calling you. You know what it is. So, you know what I mean? I respect you. I love you. And I look up to you, bro. And I just want you to keep doing what you're doing and always keep me in tune. And like we talk all the time. So, you know, this is regular for us, you know what I'm saying? But we definitely want to talk even more. And I appreciate you, Jay. And thank you for spending time on my channel. And I definitely would like to have you back for bigger conversations as well that you can contribute, because I think other people need to hear your perspectives in real time, not just like this, but actually like in a dialogue. And I would love for you to be a part of that. So
yeah, no doubt, man. I appreciate and got love for you too, bro. It's all love, man. So like, yeah, I'm down. You know.
Absolutely. So appreciate you, y'all. Thanks everybody for pulling up for my latest interview. Pull up tomorrow. We're gonna be having Turntable Tuesdays on Thursday tomorrow. But next week we'll be back in rotation. And next week, I got a real dope interview coming up with the legendary Angry Man. So look out for that. Angry Man will be on Philosophical Radio next Wednesday. And like I said, give me some ideas for this weekend's Unpacking the Cap show, because, you know, I need some little inspiration. But yeah, with that being said, shout out to Jay, shout out to everybody for pulling up. This has been another episode, another interview. Shout out to all my Team Illa members. And with that being said, peace and love. Pisces season is in effect. You know what I mean? Shout out to my fishes. We out here. Shout out to my sharks. All that. We out here. So peace and love. Thank you, Jay. And we are out of here.
I'm 10 toes. Hey, yo, the game got me mortified. So I focus on being fortified. Twisted shit encrypted and codified. Products of a simulation. First generation sufferers of overstimulation. My stipulation got me looking for some ventilation. I changed the station, ignoring Satan's invitation. No visitation for my brothers off solicitations. Incarcerations, it's called the Matrix. If life's a bitch, then she's a dominatrix. So death got to be your masculine presence. Opening his arms while you bask in his essence. Sometimes when I talk to God, I call more passive aggressive. Will I open heaven's doors or just burn from my lessons? Blessings. You know the game been told. If I was you, then my soul would have been sold. Watch what you do, cause it's coming back tenfold. Either way it goes, man, I'm 10 toes, 10 toes, 10.